Don't get me wrong, My Hero Academia Season 4 F3 was pretty damn hype, but I just gotta say before we get started, that preview though, very dark and ominous things coming to My Hero Academia with next week's episode, or the next episode shall I say, but yeah, let's just jump straight into that My Hero Academia, boy. Shit is getting real. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. So of course this episode picks up from where the last one left off, and to be honest with you, this episode was very vital and once again pushing Deku's character even more forward. Like, this was obviously a Deku centered episode, but also it was just very giving more insight, I guess you could say, into a little bit of All Might stuff as well, in terms of the fact of like who his sidekick was, because of course if that was his sidekick at some given point, Night Eye, then you're gonna get a little bit of insight. Okay, why did he want him around, and this and that. And I honestly came to this conclusion, I don't think many have, but it seems as though All Might has an extreme fondness to have partners, or, you know, students or sidekicks or any of that that are fanboys of his. Like, it seems as though to a certain degree, if you really think about it, All Might likes yes men to a small degree. Obviously, so, you know, he's a great hero, all that righteous stuff, because both Night Eye, his sidekick, and Deku, his successor, are massive All Might fanboys. So it's kind of telling, like, oh, so All Might likes to be around people that praise him so much, because not everybody is All Might fanboys. Obviously a lot of people loved All Might or whatever, but like, look at Bakugo for example, or, you know, Togata. I mean, Togata doesn't hate All Might, but it's not like he's just there wearing All Might underwear, you know what I'm saying? So to kind of, which I don't think either of them had All Might underwear, don't quote me if I'm wrong on that, but I'm just saying, like, he likes the extremest of fanboys around him based on, again, Night Eye with all this memorabilia and posters and everything all around the office, and Deku, and, you know, just how far Deku's willing to go to protect anything that is sacred of All Might. Because the episode picks up from where the last one left off, with Deku with that terrible joke, like, fam, you thought you was about to, like, what you thought you was doing there, boy? Like, that was a horrible joke. But it just showed, once again, it turned into, like, this episode was really like a fanboy, All Might fanboy fight, in a way. It was like, aha, but it may have not been funny, because you've never seen him with these type of wrinkles, but he actually did in this one incident. And then Night Eye is like, ah, yes, the salt incident. Is like, oh, so they're debating on fanboy shit. Like, that. Honestly, it just seemed as though, like, that's how the episode opened up, of like, they're both really big fanboys, and maybe Night Eye forgot about the wrinkles from that one incident or whatever, so it kind of shows maybe Deku is a bigger fanboy, because eventually Night Eye did say, oh, I remember you were testing me, were you, whatever. So it's just like, yeah, fanboy galore for All Might up in that office. But then Night Eye says, I bet, you want to work for me? No doubt. You're gonna have to get this stamp from my hand. It kind of clearly reminded me of Naruto Kakashi. We'll talk about that in a second. But get the stamp from my hand and stamp it yourself on this paper. He threw out Tagata and Bubble Girl after having his way with Bubble Girl, which, oh my god, there was some fan backlash over that too. I didn't even, I didn't talk about that one, but apparently, like, people were raging over Bubble Girl being tied up there. Like, they were saying that that's misogynistic and all this stuff. Like, shut up. I'm sorry, just the toxic side of the My Hero Academia fandom, shut up. That's ridiculous, but I digress. We're not even gonna get into that. That's just swine behavior at this point. Like, shut up. Anywho, and yeah, honestly, the Night Eye grabbed the stamp from my hand little test for Deku. It reminded me of Kakashi telling Naruto and Sasuke to get the bells from him. Like, that gave me, which is not wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure that wasn't the creator of that idea. It probably came from somewhere else, and it's probably been done a million times or whatever. But that's what I got when I heard, you know, Night Eye say, like, you gotta get this. It was pretty much like trying to get the bells from Kakashi, but it was in a small contained office with a bunch of All Might memorabilia all around it. And it was interesting to see that despite how far Deku's come, because he's grown a lot, power wise, you know, using full Cal and all of that stuff, Night Eye is the shit. There's a reason why he was All Might's sidekick, because we find out more, a little bit anyway, about his quirk. It's called Foresight, and if he touches you and looks you in the eye for the next hour, he'll know all your choices. So, very, honestly, that's a very strong quirk. Like, if you think about it, basically he can see the future and, you know, whatever movements. So, like, if Deku's gonna go left, right, up, and then punch, he's gonna already know that. So Deku even tried his best to make it complex as hell, but you can't make it complex when the blow that's gonna actually come, he can already know that it's coming, because like you could go, you know, and he was trying to use everything in his arsenal, like the Gran Torino jumping around style, all of that stuff. But that quirk is like, it's kind of not broken, because at the end of the day, I think honestly, if Night Eye, which he doesn't look physically fit, but if Night Eye was really like on some buff All Might shit, just imagine knowing the future, and then, or at the very least the future of your opponent, what they're gonna do, and then being able to knock them out. Very, very strong. But Night Eye is kind of like, you know, slim, and but still, you know what I'm saying, Deku couldn't do it no matter how hard he tried. And it showed that he was even using some skill and tactic. I like that there was strategy to what Deku tried to do, you know, throwing the books in the air to see if he could blind them in a sense, and then going straight forward. But he fell flat on his face, literally smashed straight into the wall, which I was like, oh my god, his freaking nose. I've had that happen to me before, like, that must have hurt. But essentially Deku failed, which again, very, very classic and very reminiscent of like something like Naruto, where despite the fact that he was not able to get the stamp in the 3-minute time limit that Night Eye gave him, he still essentially gave him the job and passed him, because a couple of different things. For starters, it felt very, which nothing wrong with it. I'm a nerd. We're all nerds. We love anime. Deal with it, whatever. And it's become mainstream, so yeah, whatever. But it was just so dirty of like, a lot of it had to do with just, oh, you were such a hardcore fanboy, which don't get me wrong, there was more to it, and I'll explain, but you were such a hardcore fanboy, you didn't touch none of the memorabilia, you didn't stomp on it and mess anything up. But, you know, that was one nerdy aspect of it that Night Eye caught immediately. But the bigger thing is, it impressed him so much, and this is something maybe people didn't really understand, just how he was able to, not only he didn't hit none of the All Might memorabilia, but you gotta remember, he's moving at the speed of Gran Torino, also trying to figure out how he's gonna get the stamp from Night Eye's hand. That is a very, very complicated and hard thing to do, to be able to balance all of those things in your mind while trying to figure out how you're going to take the next step, and also trying to study and understand the foresight quirk. So a lot of it was like, yeah, this dude, he's worthy. But it also just showed, because one of the things Deku realized, which I love when we get the older Deku narrating of like, you know, at the time I didn't realize it, whatever, when he says, it seems as though like he really just wanted to have me quit, because you could tell that whatever disagreements and whatever bad blood happened between Night Eye and All Might, despite the fact that he still is a huge fanboy for All Might, that is his all-time favorite everything and whatever, he felt as though Togata, Medio, was the better pick. And he was like, I could shut this kid down, you know what I'm saying, like turn him down, screw him over, whatever. Like, so a lot of it was he wants to see him fail in a sense, to a certain degree, just because it will make him right. But at the same time, he knows that he's talented, and at the same time he respects All Might so much that he said, like, I was gonna accept him anyway. I had to accept him regardless, just because like All Might picked him. And you know, every time Deku says something nice like the greatest hero sent me, or told me I can do it, it once again made Night Eye, like, you could tell, like, just squash the beef, fam. Like, yeah, y'all brothers, just squash the beef, fam. That's like some Young Thug and Rich Homie Quan shit. Like, just squash the beef, fam. Y'all love each other. Don't lie. You know you love that man. But this episode overall, a lot of it was just, again, entry-level stuff. It wasn't the greatest episode of all time, but it was good building, finding out more of characters that are going to be very important and integral to this upcoming arc, with mainly Night Eye, but also, you know, Medio, and just, it seems as though, like, Night Eye's successor is Medio, Deku's, or All Might's successor is Deku. So it just, that's one of the many things possibly of the bad blood that they have with one another, of like, you should have picked Medio, so now it's Deku's chance to prove him wrong. And then the end of the episode was introducing more of their prime suspect of where they're going with the workforce, of they're trying to figure out how they could pin something or find something on this Overhaul guy, which Overhaul was introduced in the finale of last season and the last episode. So it seems as though this Overhaul guy is going to be a very big deal, and I ain't gonna lie, his design is sick, and I can't wait. Like, the end of this episode where they were showcasing, like, yeah, these dudes, they some tough shit. We gotta just tailgate them right now, and it's getting exciting. Like, another build up. I think the end of this episode really showcased, alright, all the BS to the side now, we're about to get onto the actual field. We got Deku, we got Medio, we got Night Eye. Things is about to get real. And then hopefully you didn't miss out and you watched all the way through, even after the ending song, because there was a piece of episode where Deku is on the street, and a little girl named Eddie runs into him, and this is where it all begins, because then after that, Overhaul comes out. You could tell that this is setting things up for big stuff to come. Like, overall, this episode, very, very good setup for what's to come. Very good entry to showcase that Deku earned his spot, and I think that's one of the things that My Hero Academia constantly, time and time again, wants to showcase, is that he didn't just, like, he's not like the chosen one, so to speak, in terms of everybody's gonna open doors for him or whatever. He shows time and time again, I deserve to be here. I'm not just here because All Might sent me, All Might said it. I'm here because I belong here. So very, very cool stuff for Deku's character. Again, overall episode, like, really, really hype stuff. The next episode preview, though, I have to talk about that before we go. Woo! When they play that dark music and you see the flashback, because remember, in last episode, All Might said one of the things is that he can't look at Night Eye because he turned out exactly the way he said he would. And we see like some dark music, or we hear some dark music, and we see Night Eye carrying All Might, looking all injured and everything. Very, very ominous stuff to come with All Might's past with Night Eye. We're gonna probably get the reason and the story behind why they separated as hero and sidekick, and I can't wait for that, baby. Like My Hero Academia this season, little by little, we're inching towards some insane greatness. But that's all I have for this one, though. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links, of course, in the description below. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule. Anime and manga for life, boy. Have an awesome day. Peace in.
Enjoy the next ride, but I was the best ride. But I hope you know